Peculiar Stars Lifestyle Talk Show. And today we are just talking about careers in legal, and it has to do with living in Canada and being able to integrate in Canada. And I have had so many friends who are lawyers and who are looking to travel and relocate. And there's always this thoughts, confusion and conflict as regards how can they build their career outside of Nigeria, with the fact that laws in different countries differs. And sometimes they're thinking about the cost of starting all over again, the cost of law school. Here in the UK, the cost of law school can be really expensive. And so many people are thinking about what other opportunities are available to them, even if they have to relocate or if they want to relocate. And this had been like some sort of limitation to some lawyers, thinking, no, I want to practice law. I want to be in my legal profession, but I can't do that if I have to leave my own country. So today we have Dr. Jade Sola with us today. She has a background in law, BSc law. Is it BSc or BA law? She'll introduce herself shortly. And she also did a PhD in law in the United Kingdom before she relocated to Canada. And she's still building her career in law, but definitely with a private firm. So she would share her ideas, experiences, and how she has been able to continue to be in the legal profession and build a career. So over to you, Dr. Jade Sola. Kindly introduce yourself to us, and then we'll start from there.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Kemi. Hello, everybody. My name is Jade Sola. I am a lawyer as well. I did my LLB in Nigeria, Igbinedion University, and I did my master's in international business law at the University of Leeds in the UK. I also did my PhD in insolvency law, also at the University of Leeds in UK. So I left the UK for Canada in March this year. And I'm not currently practicing as a lawyer in Canada, but I currently work as a policy and compliance analyst in KPMG Canada. What other thing? So the journey has been long. I would say at some point, I knew right from the start, I wasn't going to practice law. And when I mean practice law, I mean, I mean legal practice, so to say. So I was looking for career paths where the skills that I have gained as a lawyer, as a PhD student, where I can transfer those skills. So I didn't want to go through all the process of getting qualified, getting licensed rather, to practice law in Canada. So I kind of created a list for myself of possible alternative career paths for foreign trained lawyers in Canada. So on top of my list was a policy analyst. And the reason why I was really interested in being a policy analyst is because I felt at that time it aligns to my career goals. And then there are so many transferable skills based on my previous experiences where I've worked. Also based on the PhD itself, prepares you for a career journey. So there are so many things that you learn while doing a PhD that will help you to transition into whatever career path you decide to go into. So I was interested in being a policy analyst, a compliance analyst. I was also interested in a career in HR, but at that time I knew I was going to, it would require me to do certifications. So fortunately for me, I saw a role that was advertised by KPMG Canada, policy and compliance analyst. So a 2-in-1 role, and I was really excited and I applied, and then I went through a rigorous interview exercise. Then I think I did, was it 4 interviews? Yeah, I think so. And then they told me, the HR got back to me and said, oh, they were having difficulties choosing between me and someone else. So to break the tie, they recommended that we did a written assessment. So I had to do a written assessment on something policy related. So after like 3 days, they got back to me to say, oh, they were going forward. They were going to go forward with me for that role. And I started in July this year, and I'm still there, and I'm loving it so far. So I don't want to discourage anybody. Like, I know like so many people are so interested in legal practice, or they want to practice labor law, they want to be a lawyer in Canada, so they have to go through the whole NCA process. But having done LLB, master's, PhD, and thinking about the whole stress of getting caught by in Nigeria, I didn't want to also now that I'm now in Canada, I didn't want to go through that process of NCA. So I decided to go for something else, and I love doing it. I enjoy doing it. And that's where I am now. I can't hear you.
Yeah. So I have a question. So now what will be going on in my mind as a lawyer will be like, what is the relationship between what you're doing now as a policy and compliance analyst to what you have studied? Does that mean all the law has gone to waste, or your knowledge of law has gone to waste? Or is there a relationship between what you're doing now and law?
Yeah, there's a huge relationship between what I'm doing now and law. So what I currently do is to review policies, any legislation that will affect KPMG as a company and its employees. So I draft policies. I make sure that we are compliant with any legislation, any employment. It doesn't really have to be employment law per se, but I would say that my role deals more with employment law than any other area of law. So there is still, I think, the reviewing of policies, drafting policies. So I meet with stakeholders like to discuss the impact of those policies on KPMG. So I think that is still legal practice, quote and unquote. So yeah.
Okay, so if there's somebody looking, obviously there are people that have studied law and they're probably working with a private firm in Nigeria, and they're thinking, okay, apart from policy and compliance analyst, what other alternative role can I do?
Okay, I'll say it depends. So if, for example, the person's goal is to practice law, like get licensed to practice law in Canada, they'll have to start with a legal assistance role, for example, pending when they are able to take the bar exams and get qualified. There's also HR. In fact, I was speaking to a friend who also migrated from Nigeria to Canada, and she's working as an HR consultant. She didn't even have to write like any certification. It's just about preparing your resume and tailoring it to whatever you're applying for. So HR is another good one. Then there is, what's it called? There are legal advisors as well. So legal advisor is like high level, will I say high level customer service. So there's that one as well. Yeah. Then there are specialists, just like legal, they call it either legal advisors or legal specialists. So specialists take on like casework. So for example, it could be an immigration specialist where you take on cases of people looking to migrate to Canada, and you help them with the whole process. So there are so many, I wouldn't say there is like, it just depends on how you position yourself, making sure that you are able to leverage like whatever you've learned as a lawyer in Nigeria and just tailor it to whatever role you feel you meet the requirements, maybe 50% of the requirements. Sometimes people, maybe when you look at like a job description, for example, and then you think, oh, maybe because sometimes they might write, oh, experience in Canada. If you feel like you match the job description, like 50%, you could apply for that role. I know even, I remember when I was applying for this policy analyst role, they specifically requested for someone with 5 years HR experience and I don't even have any HR experience. I
experience.
just applied because all of that things, the skills, analytical skills, interpersonal skills, ability to multitask, I just felt, oh, these are things that I can do. So I just applied for the role and I got it. So it's about, there are some roles that you won't even think, based on the name or the title that they've given it, you might think, oh, I don't think I qualify for this role. But if you read the job description very well and you are able to see a match between maybe your skills, your experience, and that job title, you can definitely apply.
Okay. So now I'm going to throw it to the audience. I'll start with Albert. Do you have a question? Okay. In the absence of Albert responding, Rejoice, do you have a question? Rejoice 27. Okay, if you're speaking, you're muted, so yeah, unmute yourself. So you need to unmute yourself if you want to speak. Okay, Omalayo, do you have a question? No. Okay.
Hi, good,
Yeah.
good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you very much, Jade, for giving us this letting us know what's up in Canada, because really I've been thinking that, how do we that we are planning to Japa and migrate to Canada, what are we going to do when we get there? So I'm really happy that you actually explain to us that we can do a lot of things, even with the fact that we cannot practice law there, because we are not we have not been called, we're not called there. So that HR this thing, because I'm actually an HR officer too here, like where I work. I'm an HR and legal officer. So I wanted to confirm, is just like you said, is it like do I need to do any certification course in HR in Canada there before I can probably apply for an HR job there? Is it like this particular certification that I must do, probably in Nigeria or there in Canada, before I can actually apply as an HR in Canada? Because I have like my senior colleague that was here with me in Nigeria before, that she traveled to Canada too, and she became an HR person there too. So is it like, although I have not been able to talk to her since then, I just know that she's an HR person. So I want to confirm there's something like probably like a course or a certification or something that you need to get. Sorry, my listening is too long.
No, it's fine. Thank you very much. So yes, there are certifications that you can write. I don't know what I know when you write that certification, you can what's it called? I'm trying to remember. Is it CHRP? I see like lots of HR professionals with the CHRP title. So I don't know if it is the certification that is called CHRP, or there's a certification that you write. Then after passing that certification, you'll be able to use the title, that CHRP title. But I know I'll have to check, or you can also like Google search for HR certifications for HR professionals in Canada, or I can check and then get back to you. But writing a certification will definitely give you an edge. So especially if you don't have like an HR background. So I recommend like writing a certification for sure. But like I said, I know people that didn't write the certification and still got a job. It's just about, it's just a case of putting how you put out yourself matters. Like, is how you tailor your resume to the job title and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know
thank
that.
You very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adesola. And I know that you can do a certification. I know somebody that didn't even have an HR background at all. That didn't have an HR background at all, but then did a certification. I think there are levels, but she just did the first I think diploma or level 1, I'm not sure. But at the end of the show, when I post this, I'll put in the description box. So there is a certification she did. She only did the level 1, and then she got a job, and then you can continue to build your certification, like, and then get, I think, professional or something. And then, yeah, so you can just do 1 level and then get a job.
Okay, sorry, I have one more question, please.
Okay, please ask.
So, okay, so what I wanted to ask is that are there like remote jobs that, you know, for someone like me that I'm in Nigeria now, are there like remote jobs that I can actually do, probably paralegal, legal, HR, anything that I can do for companies in Canada while I'm in Nigeria? I don't know if, because really I've been looking for, and I really want to, I didn't want to do remote jobs like for people, like for companies in Canada while I'm in Nigeria, ending when I'm able to, you know, move out and move to Canada. So I did like
just answer that first before I say
Yeah,
anything.
in fact, I'll send you a link.
Okay.
So you can share with them like after.
Okay.
There are remote jobs, but for some employers, like, they prefer people that are inside Canada already, but some people don't mind. So I'd say it's not, there's no yes or no answer to your question. So I'll just say that apply like for remote jobs. You never can tell, like, who knows? You could get one, but I know most employers prefer people that are already inside Canada, because some employers have to send you workstations and all of that. And if you're not in Canada, like, they can't do that. So
yeah, so that's what Jadesola said. So it has to do with, obviously there are remote jobs. We can't say it's impossible. So you have to just keep applying and try your luck. But and there are also laws, employee laws, like, so obviously you have to have your in the UK they call it NI for you to be paid. There's always the tax issues and all that. So, but if you would get something like that, I would say maybe multinational companies that probably have that also have like maybe a place in Nigeria, like they are present in Nigeria or something, and they are able to like do all that. Or yeah, but you can just keep applying. We wouldn't say it's impossible for you to get that. Yeah, but you just keep applying, because there are different things. There are other factors that employers would consider, and every other thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
And then Kike Lomo, unmute yourself and ask a question. Okay. In the absence of Kike Lomo speaking, Chike Umeke, do you have any question? I think I would say if you have a question.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for this insightful show. Okay, so what I would just want to ask is, because everything, of course, there was a time I was, my service was not too good, so I was not able to hear what she said or true. But I just wanted to ask if, because I think everything you said borders on other aspects, private, corporate, commercial, compliance. So I really want to know more about the litigation. If you want to go into core litigation, to court, and how, of course, after you might have written your various court, how lucrative is that? Is it more lucrative than Nigeria? Litigation in Nigeria, lucrative is. Then how do you go about it? What do you?
So
before you answer that question, I think I also want to add, would you, if you're going to compare litigation in Canada and also working for a private company, which would you pick? Like, obviously you must have assessed that and be like, oh, I would prefer private company. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Be sincere on this.
Okay, I would say that legal practice, like litigation, pays more. Like, I know I have like a couple of acquaintances that are lawyers in Canada, and they earn so much. Yeah, but you have to go through before you can get called to whichever. So here there's no, you know how in Nigeria, once you are called to bar, you can practice anywhere. But here in Canada, it depends on the province. So if you are called to bar in Ontario, you can only practice in Ontario. So if you want to practice in Alberta, for example, you need to get licensed to practice in that province. So I know that litigation practice here is money. I know compared to private, like people that are not licensed to practice law. But for me, I wasn't like, I've spent how many years of my life studying, getting a PhD and all. So I got like bored or tired of this whole law litigation thing.
Reading.
Yeah, so for now, I said maybe later I might decide to take the NCA exam. So it's called the NCA exam, Kikelomo. If you want to practice in Canada, I think you need to register with the NCA. I don't know, you have to double check. I don't really know much about the legal practice here because I'm not practicing. Like I didn't even look at that aspect. So I know you need to take some exams and then once you pass, you get called to the bar. But I'd say compared to Nigeria, obviously the money is huge. I remember then I even did like a Google search of how much lawyers were earning in Canada. And I know like they earn 6 figures. Well, depending on the firm, depending on how big the firm is. Then apart from that, I would also, as a caveat, I would also say that it's not only litigation like that pays well, depending on the company still. So if you are working for like the big 4 companies, PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, Ernst & Young, you might be earning like almost the same thing as your people that are practicing litigation. So I would say it depends on the company. So even apart from private companies, like public, if you are working for the government, like they even pay way more than private companies. So as, for example, as a policy analyst, if you are working with the government, I even know people that earn like 6 figures, and I'm working with KPMG and I don't even earn 6 figures. So it really depends on the company, the industry that you are in.
So
Sure.
yeah, so thank you so much, Adesola. To add to that, we're going to have another session where we'll have a lawyer that would actually speak to us about laws and everything. So Adesola is here to talk about alternatives and other ways and options whereby you could actually, still practice, so to say, in quotes, whereby you could still like use your skills and everything and you could still work. Thank you so much, Adesola, for this. Next is I've called Kike Omolola Ahmed. You unmute yourself if you want to speak. Would I tell everyone, like, if you want to ask a question, can you raise your hands and I will just call on you when you're ready. So how you raise your hands is just go to the to the reaction and then just raise your hands there and I will call on you when you're ready. But Omolola,
hi everyone.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can anyone hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this session. I just wanted to ask this question. I don't know if you've answered it because my network was fluctuating at a point. So I wanted to ask if I, as a newcomer to Canada, and I want to probably, apply for some jobs. So I've been seeing a lot of paralegal jobs and all of that. So do we have to have like a diploma of a sort, or maybe you have to have, because I'm aware that there are diplomas for, paralegal studies. So how feasible is it for newcomers to, have, to get these paralegal jobs without maybe having gone through a sort of diploma before applying?
Okay, thank you. So it depends on the province, but I would say that most, like in Ontario, I'm in Ontario, and Ontario requires you to have a diploma before you can work as a paralegal. So most foreign trade lawyers end up working as a legal assistant because you don't need any qualification for that. I think, I'm not sure, but I think Alberta, for example, does not really require that qualification to work as a paralegal. So it depends on the province, I would say. But I know I suspect that majority of the provinces would require that diploma to work as a paralegal. But if your goal is to get licensed, that you just want something to do, like before taking the NCA exam, before the old call to bar thing, you might look towards working as a legal assistant instead, because those ones are like readily available. Those jobs are readily available, and you don't need to have any diploma to land those jobs.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Okay. Faye, do you have a question? Okay, I just have some questions that some other people sent to me, and I'm just going to ask you some of them. So I think you have answered some of them. So what are the qualifications required to work in a compliance role in Canada? I don't think you've answered that. Is there a qualification required to work in a compliance role?
No.
No, as long as you go.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are compliance analysts, and the only qualification they have is their LLB, BL, like their Nigerian qualification. You get what I mean?
They studied law and all that.
Yeah, so I don't think there is any qualification really. And the compliance jobs are so, like, there are so many. So
do you have to study law to be a compliance?
No,
to be in a compliance role?
No, I would say no, because I know people that are not lawyers that are also working as compliance analysts. I think the AML thing, the anti-money laundering thing, has made like compliance roles more lucrative.
Okay.
So yeah.
So another question somebody sent is, what is the income like for lawyers in Canada? I know you mentioned it. So 6 figures, definitely, right?
Yeah, definitely.
What is the minimum?
I don't know the minimum. I would say, I don't know, maybe 60,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. But then I would say that is something that people need to think about, the cost of going to study again. So you have to spend, I don't know how many years you have to go to law school in Canada, right? And then, or do you just have to do the NCA, or you have to go to the law school? Or it's either or?
No. I don't know. I don't really know much about this.
Yeah. So we will answer that question. We were hoping to have a lawyer there today, but we'll answer that question in the next session. And I will take note of all the people that have attended, and we'll send it to that group that you got the link when the lawyer is available, and I will send the link to everybody to get in touch. Does anyone have any question before we round this off? You have to unmute yourself before you talk. Tochukwu, you just joined us. Is there any question that you have? Thank you for joining.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
Trying to follow the conversation. Thank you for having me.
All right, no problem. Abiodun, do you have a question? Okay, so thank you so much for joining. This will be posted on YouTube, and I would ensure that the link is sent to your to the group in which you found the link, and also links to the job sites Jadesola talked about will actually be in the description box, and every other information. And yeah, and then there'll be another session where we invite the lawyer, and then we would actually get the link across to you as well. And as regards relocation process, we have different sessions on relocation, how to apply for PR and all those other stuff. So those are different things. But I guess the first thing everybody wants to know is, even after I relocate, will I get a job? And definitely there are opportunities available in Canada to actually get a job and continue to progress in the various career that you choose. Thank you so much, Jadesola. Do you have any other thing that you would like to tell us about integrating in Canada?
I'll just say if you end up coming to Canada, just be open-minded. It takes time. So I got to Canada in March and I didn't get a job until, let me see, until May. So before this, before I started this KPMG role, I got a job in May, a regulatory compliance coordinator role. So I was doing that job before I got the KPMG one. So it took me like almost 2 months to get a job. So it does take time, but there are so many opportunities in Canada that you can tap into and develop yourself. So be open-minded. And one more thing, I forgot to mention that I run a...
I was going to say that. Yeah.
So if you're looking for resume, CV reviews, career advice, and all of that, Folakemi will put the link after the session. So you can feel free to reach out to me. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn.
On Instagram as well. So yeah, is it Legal Baby Doctor, right? Did I say it right?
Baby coming from.
No, I saw something maybe on your Instagram page. Okay, tell us exactly what it is so that they will find it.
The legal doctor.
Okay, the legal doctor. On Instagram. So she helps with CV reviews and all that. And I'm very sure it will cost them a hand.
Very cheap, like no worries.
Yeah, she's even doing like you're doing like a free
resume
review for now. Yeah, so yeah. Thank you so much for joining, and that is us. We just finished this, and definitely watch out for the sessions with lawyers. And yeah, we will get most of your. I know some people want to just practice, and you get your questions. I really have interest in litigation, especially criminology. Don't worry, I'll get a lawyer.
Something.
Yes.
Sorry, can I say something, please?
Yeah, yes, sure. Please.
Please, can you send a LinkedIn, like a profile link to the WhatsApp group so I can just join from there? Just connect from there.
Let me put it. Is your legal doctor stuff on LinkedIn as well? No, just your. Okay. Do you know what I'll send? Connect with her on Instagram. Let me put that there. And that is legal doctor. Just look for legal doctor. And you should be able to, yeah. So if you send her a message, she will tell you, she will just ask her any question. I'm very sure she'll be able to answer. The legal doctor. Is that it?
Yeah, the legal doctor.
Together, right?
Yeah, together.
Yeah, together. THELEGAL doctor. Everyone.
Then underscore, sorry, the legal doctor underscore.
Okay.
After the doctor, there is the underscore.
Yeah, I can see it now. Career doctor, policy and compliance, baby.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. I'm following right away.
All right. So ask her any question, and yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much, and speak to you again very soon. Thank you. Thank you, Jadisola.
Yeah, bye everyone.
All right, bye for now.